Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the explosive developments hitting Port Charles on Monday, January 26th, as multiple storylines collide in ways that will leave viewers absolutely stunned. From dangerous deceptions at Bobby's restaurant to forbidden castle visits and career-altering demotions. This episode promises to deliver the kind of edge-of-your-seat drama that General Hospital fans have come to expect. And crave Brit's calculated chaos at Bobby's. The tension at Bobby's restaurant will reach a boiling point as Britt Westbourne orchestrates an elaborate and calculated performance designed specifically to push Jason Morgan away from her life. This isn't just a simple argument or misunderstanding. Britt will unleash a torrent of accusations and harsh words that seem completely out of character for the woman Jason has grown close to over recent weeks. The confrontation will center around a pointed question that cuts straight to the heart of their relationship. Does Jason truly put Britt first, or will Carly always be his number one priority? Jason will stand there completely blindsided by Britt's sudden transformation from warm and affectionate to ice cold and hostile. He won't understand what triggered this dramatic shift in her demeanor, especially since everything seemed fine between them just hours earlier. The confusion on his face will be evident as he tries to reason with Britt and figure out what's really happening. Beneath the surface of her anger, Carly, who will witness this entire scene unfold, won't be fooled by Britt's theatrics for a second. With her sharp instincts and years of experience dealing with Port Charles drama, Carly will immediately recognize that Britt deliberately started this fight in such a public location. She'll point out to Jason that Britt was clearly baiting her into a confrontation, choosing Bobby specifically because she knew both of them would be there. The restaurant setting wasn't accidental, it was strategic. Despite Carly's interpretation of events, Jason's detective instincts will kick into high gear. He knows Britt well enough by now to recognize when someone is acting under duress or putting on a show for hidden reasons. The abruptness of her behavioral change will raise red flags in his mind, and he'll begin piecing together the possibility that Britt might be in serious danger. Perhaps someone is threatening her or forcing her to drive him away. Jason will grow increasingly concerned about what invisible threats might be lurking in the shadows, compelling Britt to sabotage their relationship so dramatically and publicly. Jocelyn's dangerous defiance at Windermere. Meanwhile, Jocelyn Jacks will make a decision that directly contradicts explicit orders from Jack Brennan, demonstrating just how willing she is to take risks for information. Brennan had made his instructions crystal clear. Jocelyn needs to operate as a sleeper agent, which means staying far away from Spoon Island and Windermere Castle. The fortress-like estate has become ground zero for dangerous operations, and Brennan knows that Jocelyn's presence there could compromise not only her safety, but also ongoing intelligence. Missions. Furthermore, Brennan specifically told Jocelyn to avoid contact with Lucas Jones whenever possible, at least in any way that wouldn't raise immediate suspicion about her sudden distance. But when Lucas extended a casual invitation for drinks at the castle, Jocelyn saw an opportunity she couldn't pass up. She learned that Pascal was conveniently out of town, which meant one less set of watchful eyes monitoring activities at Windermere. The timing seemed too perfect to ignore. Jocelyn will arrive at the imposing castle, and as she shares drinks with Lucas in one of Windermere's lavishly decorated rooms, their conversation will take some interesting turns. However, their private discussion won't stay private for long. Ava Jerome, always attuned to the undercurrents of castle, politics, and intrigue, will interrupt their conversation on Friday's episode. Ava's sharp eyes and even sharper instincts will pick up on something off about Jocelyn's line of questioning. She may sense that Jocelyn is fishing for specific information from Lucas, using their friendly rapport as cover to extract details about ongoing situations. Ava will wonder what Jocelyn's true agenda might be and whether her presence at Windermere is as innocent as it appears. On the surface, this interruption could create awkward tension and force Jocelyn to think quickly on her feet to maintain her cover. The ripple effects of recent events will continue to spread through Windermere's halls. Both Lucas and Marco Rios will find themselves genuinely shocked by something in the near future, most likely Jen's. Sidwell's reaction to Drew Kane's devastating stroke. Instead of showing concern or sympathy, Sidwell will immediately pivot to the political implications, focusing intensely on who will replace Drew as congressman as quickly as possible. This cold, calculating response will reveal just how ruthless and pragmatic Sidwell truly is, prioritizing power dynamics over human compassion. Chase's career crisis and adoption dreams across town. Harrison Chase will sit down with his wife, Brooklyn Quartermain, to share news that will significantly impact their lives and future plans. Chase has been demoted from his position, a professional blow that would devastate most people. However, true to his optimistic and resilient nature, Chase will attempt to reframe this setback as an opportunity to focus on what really matters in life. He'll try to push aside all the frustration, anger, and disappointment swirling inside him and instead redirect his energy towards something positive and life-affirming. Chase will suggest that now might actually be the perfect time for them to seriously pursue adoption, with potentially fewer work demands and obligations weighing on him after the demotion. He'll argue that they could finally have the time and emotional bandwidth to bring a child into their home and hearts. His eyes will light up as he talks about this possibility, envisioning a future where they become parents and build the family they've been dreaming about. However, Brooke Lynn's reaction will be far more complicated and hesitant than Chase expects or hopes for. Her face will show clear unease and reluctance as Chase presents his adoption plan. Brooke Lynn has been watching her husband make increasingly risky decisions lately, choices that have put him in jeopardy both professionally and personally. Their lives have been characterized by constant upheaval, instability, and crisis after crisis. The demotion is just the latest example of how precarious their situation has become. Brooke Lynn may gently but firmly push back against Chase's suggestion, arguing that bringing a baby into their current circumstances would be irresponsible and potentially unfair to the child. They need stability, security, and a sense of normalcy before they can properly care for an infant. The timing simply isn't right, regardless of how much they both want to be parents. This disagreement could quickly escalate into a fierce and emotionally charged argument if Chase interprets Brooke. Lynn's hesitation as a sign that she'll never feel ready or truly want to adopt. The question of whether their dreams of parenthood will ever materialize could drive a painful wedge between them. Emma's growing fears about Anna. Young Emma Scorpio Drake will find herself consumed by mounting anxiety and worry about her grandmother's mysterious disappearance. As her concerns intensify and grow more difficult to ignore, she'll seek support from Giovanni Gio Palmieri, who will stand by her side as she makes the difficult decision to approach Nathan West for help. Emma respects Nathan and trusts his judgment, making him the ideal person to confide in about her escalating fears. When Emma finally opens up to Nathan, she'll admit something she's been trying to deny for days. She genuinely believes her grandmother, Anna Devane, is in serious trouble. Emma will share all the details that have been gnawing at her, the strange circumstances surrounding Anna's absence, the inconsistent explanations she's received, and the gut feeling that something is terribly wrong. Nathan will listen carefully to Emma's fears and take her concerns seriously, recognizing that Anna's granddaughter would know better than anyone when something is off. Emma's instincts are unfortunately correct. Anna is indeed in grave danger, and her situation is about to become even more complicated and perilous. Evidence suggests that Anna is being moved to a new location, likely to make her harder to find and rescue. This would perfectly explain Pascal's sudden and unexpected trip out of town he's probably been tasked with overseeing. Anna's transfer to this undisclosed location, where she'll be even more isolated and vulnerable. The decision to relocate Anna stems from growing paranoia among her captors. There had already been discussions about the significant risk of keeping Anna on Spoon Island, especially now that Britt is also present there. The proximity creates too many potential complications and increases the chances that someone might discover Anna's captivity. Moving her to a completely different location eliminates these variables and gives her captors more control over the situation. Anna's psychological torture continues, while Emma searches desperately for answers about her grandmother's whereabouts. Anna herself will continue to endure a nightmarish ordeal. The drugs coursing through her system are causing severe hallucinations that blur the line between reality and delusion. Anna can no longer trust her own senses or perceptions, making her captivity even more psychologically torturous than physical imprisonment alone could ever be. The hallucinations will specifically involve César Faison, Anna's former nemesis and one of the most twisted figures from her past. These aren't pleasant memories or neutral visions. They're designed to gaslight her, manipulate her emotions, and break down her psychological defenses. Faison's phantom presence will taunt her, question her sanity, and make her doubt everything she knows to be true. The cruelty of using this particular figure from her past shows how deeply her captors understand Anna's vulnerabilities and which psychological buttons to push for maximum impact. In Friday's preview video, viewers will hear Anna's desperate voice as she tries to maintain her grip on reality. "This isn't happening. You're not here," she'll mutter, attempting to convince herself that the Faison hallucination is just a drug-induced delusion rather than something. But even as she speaks these words, the uncertainty in her voice will reveal how effectively the psychological warfare is working. Anna's formidable strength and mental fortitude are being systematically undermined by chemical manipulation, expertly crafted mind games. The upcoming episodes promise to deliver even more disturbing developments in Anna's captivity storyline. She'll receive news that makes her situation feel even more hopeless and dire. As Emma continues her determined search for the truth behind her grandmother's disappearance, viewers will be left wondering whether Anna can hold on long enough for help to arrive, or if the combination of drugs, hallucinations, and isolation will finally break even the legendary Anna Devane. The convergence of these multiple storylines creates an incredibly tense and dramatic episode that will have General Hospital fans talking for days. From Britt's desperate charade to Jocelyn's defiant risk-taking. From Chase and Brooklyn's adoption conflict